Call home, feel everything. The lasting charm of E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. Back in an era fueled by Pepsi, BMX bikes, and John Williams' symphonies, a short, peculiar alien waddled his way into our lives and stayed there. He wasn't flashy, no laser beams or Ferrari-shaped spacecraft. His vocabulary was minimal, too, limited to things like "ouch" and the iconic E.T. phone home. Yet this creased, wide-eyed extraterrestrial became a cinematic legend. Premiering in the summer of 1982, E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial was more than just a film. It was an emotional magnet that drew in children, parents, and critics alike. Decades later, amid a sea of CGI and streaming spectacles, E.T. remains a beacon of heartfelt storytelling and soft moonlit wonder. Figuratively speaking, of course, he's not even 3 feet tall. A glowing tale, inside and out. The plot? Surprisingly straightforward. Elliot, a lonely kid from suburbia, discovers an alien hiding in his backyard and decides to keep him, like a living Tamagotchi, stashed in a closet. What unfolds is a blend of science fiction and tender realism. A narrative about friendship, loyalty, and the heartbreak of letting go. No space wars or intergalactic politics here, just Reese's Pieces, flashlight-lit bike rides, shadowy government suits, and a glowing finger that heals more than just cuts. At his emotional best, Spielberg captured something deeply human. The confusion of growing up, the sting of being misunderstood, and the belief that love, true love, can span galaxies, differences, and even outdated gaming consoles. The secret sauce? Feelings over flash. What's the secret behind E.T.'s long-lasting charm? Not explosions or hype, but emotion. It looks childhood square in the face and says, "I understand." Much of the film was shot from a child's perspective, literally, putting us right in Elliot's world. The adults, especially the ominous NASA types, loom large and distant, often cut off by the frame. This wasn't their story, it was ours. The story of kids who whispered curses under their breath, leaned on their siblings, sobbed over a sick alien, and dared to believe. And let's not forget the laughs. It wasn't just weepy scenes and luminous fingertips. Remember E.T. getting tipsy on beer, tottering in Gertie's dress, or mentally hijacking Elliot's classroom while watching The Quiet Man? It was classic Spielberg, a mix of wonder, humor, and gentle sadness, like stumbling on your dad's old jacket and finding old concert tickets and a love note in the pocket. From phone home to box office royalty. Let's talk numbers. E.T. didn't just capture hearts, it demolished the box office, pulling in over $700 million globally, setting records in the process. Theaters were filled with teary-eyed kids, awestruck adults, and teens insisting it was just allergies. Merchandise flew off the shelves. E.T. toys, lunchboxes, and games. There was even a notorious Atari game flop, buried in a New Mexico landfill for eternity. Yet the film's heart remained intact. This wasn't just studio greed riding a wave of cuteness. Spielberg protected his story like a parent shielding their child at Disneyland. No sequels, no unnecessary reboots. And yes, we're politely ignoring the CGI tweaks of 2002. Just one film, one unforgettable tale, and a legacy that didn't need a follow-up to shine. Nostalgia in every frame. What really grounds E.T. is its setting. Early 1980s suburbia was a nostalgia time capsule. Wood-paneled houses, plush carpets, flickering speak and spells, and endless summer bike rides. For Gen X and older millennials, it wasn't a fantasy, it was just another Tuesday. Elliot's home wasn't ideal. Divorced parents, cluttered rooms, and a snarky big brother. But that made it real. E.T. didn't land in some storybook kingdom. He touched down in the kind of backyard where Matchbox cars are buried beside pet goldfish. And then, that scene. The bike lift, the moon, John Williams' score building into a symphony of joy and sorrow. It's etched into cinematic history, not for its spectacle, but because it spoke to the child in all of us. Look what happens when you believe. Still phoning home and still relevant. In a time when every movie feels like episode 14 of a never-ending saga, E.T. stands as proof that a story doesn't have to be epic to be eternal. It just has to feel true. Not in a literal sense, but in how it reaches deep and finds something honest. Children still feel out of place. Parents still struggle to connect, and often our greatest companions are the ones who, like us, never quite fit in. One last peek from the closet. Sure, E.T. looked like a dried-up turtle with a stretchable neck, but he stirred emotions that most blockbusters only dream of. Wonder, sadness, and the quiet hope that we're not alone. He didn't just phone home, he reached into our hearts, and somehow we answered. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a dusty bike helmet and some feelings to deal with.